Hello, San Angelo, and welcome to the Live Daily News Show. I'm James Bellini. In news, a man has been arrested for robbery after pistol whipping a man and assaulting a woman. Central High School has organized a clothing drive for flood victims. And a little bit of sporting news, as a generational talent for the Dallas Cowboys has requested a trade. And City Councilwoman Mary Coffey is in studio today for an interview, and we'll get into that right after these messages from Jim Bass and Carpet Tech.
It's the 25 Ford Mustang, expertly crafted in Flat Rock, Michigan. Now's the perfect time to seize our exclusive employee pricing and amazing dealer discounts, allowing you to drive off in this iconic car for just $31 grand. Selection, employee pricing, and dealer discounts make this the perfect time to buy. Built in America and sold right here at Jim Bass Ford for over 60 years. Houston Hart and Arden Road or 24/7 at bassmunch.com.
My name is Cade Simmons. I'm the site manager here in San Angelo. What matters to our customers, I believe, is what we say is CT quality, CT experience, just making sure their needs are met, taking care of their home like it was ours. You just have to keep thinking of, it's never the wrong time to do the right thing. So just making sure you're taking care of what needs to be taken care of, and just knowing that they can rely on us, I think, matters to them a lot.
All right, everybody. How are you? James Bellini here with Mary Coffey, San Angelo City Councilwoman.
Yes.
Mary, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, James. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, absolutely.
It's been such a whirlwind experience. A lot of things happening. I was really fortunate in that I didn't have to run a standard campaign like everyone does. My opponent, he withdrew early in the race, and that allowed me probably about 6 months to really do a deep dive, ask all the questions on the financial end of it, what departments do what, and that was an invaluable process, and it certainly gave me a lot of confidence that I understand this, and the next steps moving forward, and there's growth. There's just a lot of things that you don't have happen to you early on. I've been an accountant for 40 years, and the kind of accounting that I did, the taxes and audits and stuff, totally different than how a municipality or government entity works. And sometimes that can be frustrating, because we're used to running at the speed of business, not the speed of government. But there are a lot of mechanisms in that, and for very, good reasons. San Angelo it's my home. And I cannot think of a better way to spend my time than to serve the city that's been so good to me.
Right.
So,
No, I mean, I think with all the city council seats that were open, the mayor was open, this was really a pivotal election for San Angelo.
Yes.
To really all right, hey, we're going to have a whole lot of new faces on here. Let's get everybody with the right mindset, and let's really jumpstart and move forward and get San Angelo growing in the right direction and everything.
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. And like you said, 4 new people. Well, Tom Thompson, our mayor, he had to give up his seat of District 2 to be the mayor. And even that role, his role as a councilman to mayor, is a whole nother level. Right. With all of us, we all, the rest, Joe Self, Patrick Keeley, and I, we come from a business background, but we bring kind of new energy to that, ask a lot of questions, and trying to figure out how the best way to do things in a more streamlined approach. And just that regime change, even the staff, it's nothing against the prior people.
No, I don't think anybody's asking you to throw shade on anybody. But I mean, it's all new.
It is. It's like we turned the page, and so we've got new people with new energy. And they're fairly young. They're both younger than me. Tom and I are the same age, but with that, we have good business ethics and good background, and just by the sheer nature of the job, we're eager to serve. We're anxious to get out there. Without the people, who needs a city? And
right.
So this is all about for me, all about just serving. I've been volunteer forever in different things, but really this is the best experience because I can still serve, but we actually can make some changes. And you get out and you listen to the people, what is important to them, and then you come back and you take care of them. And that part has been just phenomenal. I love it. I really do.
No, I mean, I see it in her comments all the time that, oh, why are we getting this business? And, oh, San Angelo's not growing.
Yeah.
But that was the plan, to get everybody on board and get San Angelo moving in the right direction. And then all of a sudden, July 4th happens,
Yeah.
and San Angelo just gets dumped on with rain.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. I mean, I'm not trying to add levity to it, but it's just miraculous that only one person lost their life in that flood.
It is.
When it displaced 30,000 people in San Angelo.
Yeah. I mean, we live in the desert.
Right.
Who gets I've even heard it called a 500-year flood. And that the last one we had was in 36, I believe. So none of us remember or know what it's like. The force of water is indescribable. But the way, you talk about trained by full immersion, the way that the leaders stepped up, I mean, that was the ultimate litmus test. You certainly, any mistakes or any things that not going as well, those are they're glaring now. So I'm certainly not glad that it happened, but the knowledge and the response after that has been, I'm proud to serve. I'm sure we made mistakes and all, but the way people pulled together, and with just like July 3rd, we were celebrating the Star Spangled Banner.
First
deal.
responders were down there.
And so,
yeah, little they know they'd have a very short night and that it would jump into.
Right. No one knew. How could you? But you see them in that capacity, and then the next day they're literally in the water trying to save people's lives. That's an experience that pulls you together, and I feel like that we are stronger as a community. I think our leadership, we know what we need to do, and then go do it. A lot of the times I tend to ask for forgiveness and not permission.
That's the way to do it, though.
Exactly, sometimes maybe. But this affected the northeast side of town. That certainly wasn't in my district or anything. But we all said, our oath is to the city.
Right.
It didn't say that, I'm only going to be loyal to the constituents on Southland and Southwest. Right. No, we dove headfirst into that. And sometimes, even though we were not nearly as important as the first responders in the way that they just, my gosh, it was amazing. But it certainly made us step up. And I'm glad. I've heard from several people that, especially the police, we had different stations set up and people get pizza and water, all the donations coming in. But that was incredible. They're like, we're so glad you're here, and that's what it's all about. I do know this for a fact, or I believe this to be a fact. We got ahead of the chaos at the very beginning. The Cameron Cummings, with COAD and all, they do.
Yeah, we've had her here before. We've been here before.
She's great.
Shout out Cameron Cummings.
Yeah. They do these mock trainings, mock disaster trainings, and sometimes it could be a tornado, and the next time it might be a fire, something like that. What they prepared for this time, it was probably 6 weeks or 8 weeks before. It was 500-year flood is what their disaster training was for. That's amazing. But just to see the way Paul Ann stepped up. Everybody raised their game. I was so impressed with Travis Griffith, our police chief. you couldn't get around. We were on Pulliam, and you couldn't get around to anybody unless you're in an ATV. And he was calm throughout this process. No one lost their cool or panicked. We were actually with the daughter of the woman that passed away, and there's that low spot, and you see the car, you know, and we were still hoping and praying for the best. But Travis, you know, he hugged her, we surrounded her and prayed, and you could just feel a lot of that terrifying stress just release. I mean, it was palpable. That is the best, it is, that was the litmus test. So I'm glad that we all pulled together and did what we had to do for those hurt the most. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, where were you on this one? Or why haven't you picked this up? Or, you know, people were frightened and scared, and you still got to keep the train on the tracks. You can't just, the city does not stop just because you have a disaster.
Right.
So we like I said before, it just amplified some of the glaring things that really need attention, and the way our city employees out there, you know, the dump trucks, I mean, it was full force. And one thing that really stood out to me, a lot of our employees were hit dramatically from the storm, never complained. Never once complained. I know they wanted to be at home, you know, but they were out here. They just, I could not be more proud to serve with this group. And I know good things are going to come from this, as tragic as it was. But the way that they got ahead of the chaos, you know, we had one fund or one deal going for the financial assistance. Then we had another lane for the perishables and clothes or food like that. That may not sound like that was a big deal, but when you set those two up like that, it freed up the leaders so that we could focus on saving their life or trying to get them back on their feet, not having to chase all these GoFundMes or, yeah, I'm not knocking that, but just all the minutia and the little tedium things that come up. By doing that, stepping up like that, Matt Lewis with the Area Foundation, it's like everybody was ready. We were ready, but you didn't know it.
Right.
And I'm very proud of how that went. You know, a lot of people, I'm not saying that, God, that thing in Kerrville, it just, it breaks your heart, breaks mine. You know, that kind of hit right after us, or, you know, within hours. And so some of the attention was not put on San Angelo.
Right.
But that was okay. That made everybody else elevate their game. And I don't know how people can live without believing in God. It was palpable and an overwhelming experience. But now we're turning the page a little for the life after, you know, the tragedy.
Right.
So trying to get back into our, you know, our mowing rotation and, you know, other debris from the vegetation, you know, that grew so quickly.
I imagine just the grass just like we had somebody come in the other day and talking about the grass out in Brentwood Park. It's like, man, we just had a terrible flood. Like, let's just get back on, you know, into rotations. You know, Republic was out of rotation for how long? And it's nice to know though. Like, I've heard the phrase like, be fast but don't get in a hurry. Because when you're in a hurry, you make mistakes.
Exactly, you do.
But when lives are on the line like that, you know, we saw videos. There was a house in the middle of Pulliam.
Right. Yeah.
There were people walking in waist deep water in their house.
Yeah.
You know, you have to act fast, but when you get in a hurry, you make mistakes.
Yes.
So it's good to know that these, you know, higher ups in San Angelo, the city council people, the mayor, the police chief, you know, everybody kept a level head about it and said, all right, we have to attack in a certain way.
Very systematic. And then when the governor says that San Angelo's response is that's the textbook that we need to use. That means a lot to us. But yes, the leadership from Lane Carter, Tom Thompson, really everyone. And the way I looked at it, well, when I walked in over to Paul Ann, everybody's dirty, and I'm not going to dress up like here I come. No, they asked me if I needed help,
Right.
So the playing field was level on that. No, nobody was a big shot or anything. We were the people,
Right.
and it's an honor it's a great honor for me to get to serve, but it was an honor to be with those and have the potential to help them. That right there means the most. It does.
Yeah, and
But-
you mentioned the area foundation and how, there's always going to be people who are like, oh, there's a tragedy, I'm going to try to profit off of this. And they'll try to start a GoFundMe or something, and it's a fake GoFundMe. We've had
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff come through when, people are facing cancer and
Yeah.
other diseases and tragedies. And so the fact that everything kind of went through the area foundation and spread out from there is nice to know that, hey, everybody in San Angelo has their head on their shoulders.
Yes, and there's a definite hierarchy, but everybody stayed in their lane and didn't, if you can't help, okay, but for God's sake, don't hurt them,
Right.
and just stay in your lane, focus on what your goal is, and don't be so caught off guard with all the chaos and stuff, because there was a lot of that, and people were tired, they're hungry, and I cannot imagine what a lot of them were going through. I was helping fill out the little ISTAT deals so that you could, that was the first step in getting FEMA here.
Right.
And I was over this one little house on Coberland. There was still a car in the tree, and they were, cleaning up and all, but they were still so resilient. That was incredible. How else could you be, though?
Right.
Adapt or die. And they were so kind, and you follow up. People just want to be heard, and they need to feel a connection to those that put them in office. So for that, I'm thankful to be here. But now we were doing a lot of things prior to the flood, and this is why I know, and I can say with confidence, that the city is better, and we're going to get even more better.
All right.
We are. There are some good things that we learned. We had 3 days of strategic planning, and that hadn't been done in many years, or for a good while. That gave the staff a chance. We did the SWAT team analysis. Strength, weaknesses, and all. Many things came out of that, and some of them I hadn't even thought of it. I wasn't thinking in, oh, well, this is what they probably need or something. No, they came forward, and it's based on what the people, our citizens, want and need, and those are going to be implemented. And that makes you feel pretty good to know that you are making a difference. You're making progress, and it's certainly in the right direction. With that, then we've added times to like the budget, and we're going to be hearing from each department and all. That's one thing. Like with the new people, we're eager to learn, and so we're up there all the time. And there's certainly more engagement with the staff, and there are a lot of. That flood was awful, but what it did was we came together as one. And we're on the same page. We all want the same thing for the citizens, and it always goes to, lower the taxes, lower, the water is terrible, the streets are terrible, and all that. And yes, I get it, I do. There are some new companies that are coming to San Angelo, and it's kind of in the kind of a precursor to the interstates and all. But with those data centers, that is going to completely flip the property taxes it's mainly by residents. That's going to flip that, and that is going to give a tremendous break for the citizens. So things will change. They are changing. It is getting better, and I'm just glad and thank God that I get to be part of it.
All right.
But when we're up there with the city manager and all, we get to air out what is important to the people in our district, and they are listening, and we have the support. But now we get to not just talk about it, let's do it. So I'm honored. I'm so proud of our town. I know there's always going to be negativity and naysayers, but when you have, I think, 25 or 30 former base commanders out at Goodfellow, when they come back, and they go all over the country, but when they retire, they come back to San Angelo. Now that right there says something, and I'm just proud and honored. But good things. So, and what I tell my people too, we all took an oath to the city for the citizens of San Angelo, not just for those. And so if you call somebody and it's not really in your district, we help. We just take care of the people. And I said it before, without citizens, there's no need for a city. So there you go. But yeah, good stuff. Thank you for having me, James. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Mary. We love having you on. Come on anytime.
No, it's I appreciate what y'all do. So
we appreciate you coming on and talking.
Okay.
Being real with us.
Well, I don't know how to. I'm not polished. I can't. What you see is what you get.
All right.
So.
Well, thank you for coming on, Mary.
Thank you, dear.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Back to you. Into the news, 30-year-old Lorenzo Rueda has been arrested for robbery after allegedly pistol whipping a man and sexually assaulting his fiancée. According to court documents, the two victims were in a tent in the 600 block of West 15th Street when Rueda approached them, telling them to leave. The victim stated he would leave in the morning, but Rueda allegedly said to leave now and produced a gun. He made the victims empty their pockets. He made the one victim empty his pockets and then struck him in the face, and then turned to his fiancée, where he went to her pockets, groped her, and then hit her in the face as well. The two victims fled the scene and police were called, and while they were investigating the scene, the homeowner next door exited her residence and told police what happened. She told everybody inside the house to leave, where the victims identified Rueda as the man who assaulted them. After consent was given, the victim's ID and wallet were located in the garage of the house, and Rueda was arrested and is being held without bond. Central High School is organizing a back-to-school clothing drive to assist local families in need and those affected by recent flooding. Donations of new or gently used clothing can be dropped off through August 7th at several locations, including Happy Trails and The Carriage, Discount Tire, the downtown YMCA, and the school's front desk. Organizers are requesting casual and streetwear items such as hoodies, jeans, graphic tees, cargo pants, and shoes of all sizes, along with outerwear like jackets and flannels. A community pickup is scheduled for August 8th, during which volunteers will collect bagged items left on doorsteps between 8 a.m. and noon. Residents interested in participating in the pickup can sign up at by emailing lindsay.ward@saisd.edu. And in sports, Cowboys linebacker Micah Parsons has formally requested a trade after showing up for training camp this year and contract negotiations going nowhere, and the front desk seemingly taking shots at recent contracts and Parsons. He said he no longer wants to be a Cowboy. They did it themselves. In local news, Paul Harris has released his top players for the upcoming high school football season, so go to SanAngeloLive.com and get ready for Cover 1 this season. And we'll be right back with weather after this quick word from Jay Chandler.
It's hard to believe how reckless some people can be and how hard they fight against real victims. You need a partner who consistently beats the giants and who will never, ever flinch.
Into the weather, we've had some rain this morning, and that looks to continue into tonight with 30% chance. It should clear up by the morning, though. It's currently 84 degrees outside with a high up around 94, and the low tonight is 71. This weekend, we have a 20% chance of rain in the afternoon tomorrow. The high should be up around 94, and the low is down around 72. And then on Sunday, the heat returns with a vengeance, with a high up at 99. And then on Monday and Tuesday, the high is 98 on both days, so summer returns just in time for two-a-days. And we'll be right back after this message from our friends at Conno's Diamonds and Coins.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Conno's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Conno's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Conno stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Conno's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Thank you for watching the Live Daily News Show, the only locally owned news show in the Contra Valley. Go like us on Facebook, X, and other social media platforms, and download the San Angelo Life mobile app. For the live team here, I'm James Bellini, and we will see you next week.